Hey guys, welcome to Frank's Handyman. Today we're going to be doing several things around the Portland area, starting off by doing this corner table. And as you can see here, he's just going to start taking everything out. We're going to assemble this and put it together. Once he finished taking everything out and as well as unwrapping everything, he was just looking for the screws at this point, but came to find out they were already connected to the legs that are going to be attached to the table. And then he was just looking at the instructions for a little bit and then starting setting everything up. As you can see here, the screws are already connected to it. So all he had really to do was just to put the pieces on the missing slots. He's going to repeat the same motion for all three legs. As you can see here, he's just going to be unscrewing and screwing back everything together. It wasn't a very complicated project. As you can see right here, he's just putting down the screws and then he's just tying everything up. And then he's going to put this leg at the end because he has to put this second piece right here. It was a little bit tight, so he had to unscrew the legs a little bit. That way he had a little bit more wiggle room and he was able to connect it to this little part right here. And as you can see, he was able to do it, and then he just put down the screws as well and then connected them. And now he's connecting the last piece, which is the last leg, and then he's just also going to put the last screws on here. Once he finished tying up all the screws, all he had to do was place it in the corner. And once we finished this project, we moved on to another place. And at this other spot, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna fix this shelf door right here. This part right here was not getting in and it was not tying it up. So they had to put a screw in there and try to hit it with the hammer. That way it would stay connected. But came to find out the screw that they were putting on was a little bit too small. So it took a couple of tries and it took a little bit of patience trying to find the right screw. But once they found the right screw, all they had to do was put it in, and there's a little bit of excess there, so he's gonna cut it with this blade. And as you can see, here's the part that we're gonna put it on. He has to make sure that it opens and closes smoothly. So now he's gonna start screwing all the screws on and connecting the piece. We came upon a little issue here. One of the screws did not fit, so he had to go through a little scavenging hunt and try to find the perfect screw that would fit in there. It had to be a little bit wider one, and eventually he found it and he was able to screw it in back into place. Now here we had an issue with the door. It was overlapping the other one, so we had to make a cut here, and he's just making the cut at the inch of the blade. Now that he's finishing up, he brought it back into the kitchen and he was just sanding it. That way it didn't have any rough edges. And once he did that, he was gonna put the door back in place as well. And now that we have all the screws, it's gonna be a lot simpler and we're not gonna have to battle trying to find a new one since we already have them. And as you can see here, the door fit perfectly. The only thing, it was not holding tight. And so he had to do a little bit of adjustments here. This part right here is the part where it's gonna be attaching to this section right here, and that's what's gonna keep the door being closed. Right here, he's putting on the screws for that part, and it was a little bit more complicated than it looks. Once he finished screwing this section, now he's going to put this little piece right here on the inside of the door, and this is what's going to keep, and it's going to attach to the other piece that we put, and that way, like I said earlier, this is going to make sure that the door stays shut. Once he finished putting this, that was it for this job. All we had to do was just clean up around, and then after we finished cleaning up, we ended up moving into another job where we had to replace this old faucet here. As you can see, what he's gonna start off doing, he's just gonna clean everything here, that way he has more space to work, and then he's gonna turn off and disconnect the hot water and the cold water, and that's really the main part of this where he's gonna have any issue, because that's really all he's really gonna have to do is just connect those hoses, and then he's gonna start opening up the new one that we're gonna put down. He was looking over the instructions just to get a right idea, but he knew what he was doing already. And right now he's just checking which one is the hot water, and that way now he's just gonna turn it off, and then he's gonna unscrew the clip here, and then he's gonna take it off. He had a little cup on the side just in handy, that way there was no water spilling, and then he moved on to take off the hot water hose. Once he did that, then everything came off for the faucet. All that he had to do now was to install the new one. Now that he got the faucet in place, all he had to do was reconnect all the hoses that he disconnected, one to the hot water and one to the cold water as well. And so he repeated the same motion just backwards, and then after that it was done. As you can see, the water's running and we were done for the day. But stay tuned for more videos that are gonna come out tomorrow. See you soon.